Hi, I'm Faisal Sharif, and you're watching Sport and Pastime. And what a week it's been for the IPL. 2 weeks down already, and we've got everything that we didn't expect we'd see. Uh, Sunrisers Hyderabad, the finalists of last season, are literally at the bottom of the table. Mumbai Indians, who were supposed to come back from last season, are still struggling to come back in the top half of the table. And it just seems that there are a few more controversies that we need to discuss today.
Hi, I'm Prem Panicker, and talking of controversies and things to discuss. Not controversies so much. I'm a bit pissed off because a team that I had a great deal of hope for, SRH, is messing it up yet again. They've lost both the openers in the power play, and what is irritating is both of them have fallen to soft dismissals. So yeah, I'm not in a good mood.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I thought they'd cross the line this time and, really hoping to either see a new winner or at least SRH doing their thing all over again. But it seems really difficult for them. And I think the most interesting part is, Prem, that Mumbai Indians, surprisingly, are just really at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, it looks like either two things. One is either Bumrah is really the X factor and the only factor in this team, or the fact that there might be something more deep in the reason why that they're not performing so well. And from what I hear, it's very clear that the team is still divided into two camps. I thought we were over that. All the ads that we saw leading up to the IPL, that famous tattoo
Yeah.
ad that you spoke about in the last episode. But it seems all is not clear. What I hear is that there's still a Rohit Sharma loyalites, and there are the Hardik Pandya converts, and things are not going very well over there. And I think it came out in the open. Prem, if you remember the Tilak Varma retired out incident, Surya
Yeah.
Kumar was livid when he saw Tilak Varma being retired out, and you could see that he was not in agreement with Hardik Pandya and Jayawardene. What do you make of that?
Well, look, I mean, if you set aside emotion, I'm not particularly down on a player who's not able to. I saw that match, and Tilak wasn't able to land his shots. Most of it was, the edges of the bat. He was squirting it all over the place. Shots that he was aiming for fours and sixes were going for singles. Let's face it, he wasn't playing the kind of impactful innings you needed at that time. My problem with that whole thing was throughout the innings he was playing like that. Now, when there are only 7 balls to go and you have a Surya Kumar at the other end, I didn't see the point of retiring Tilak Verma out. All Tilak Verma had to do if he wasn't scoring runs was take a single and give it to the other guy. Somebody comes in with 7 balls, what's he going to do? I mean, what do you expect if you're bringing in an impact sub? There needs to be some time for that guy's impact to actually be felt. No, it's not like he's going to hit
Yeah.
7 sixes in 7 balls.
And it wasn't
So
like it was Rinku Singh or it was
yeah,
somebody who can hit from the first ball. It was Michael Santner. I mean, you returned
exactly.
a specialist batsman who had all the big shots and got
Yeah,
in a Santner. And you knew Hardik Pandya was at the other end. So, if he got the strike, he could have turned things around. But I don't know.
correct.
I find that a bit weird. Prem, actually, it's very interesting if you just take another game. And I know once we talk about that, then we'll, of course, go and the danger of slipping into the Dhoni argument all over again. But look at what Dhoni, or rather the CSK, did with somebody batting like what Tilak Varma did for Mumbai Indians guy Vijay. He was struggling. He
Which
got a 50, he got a 60 also. But clearly, I think CSK lost that game not because Dhoni not able to hit the big runs, but I think because Vijay really slowed it down right from the first ball when he came in. He took some 20 balls to get to 2024 odd. And I think that's really where the run rate jumped to an unprecedented level. There was no way you were going to chase that down unless you were going to go like four, five, sixes in an over. Uh, but look at what they did. They didn't ask him to throw his wicket away, or didn't ask him to. They didn't retire him, and that says something about the team spirit and the team ethos of how CSK works. Of course, they're struggling, so not the best example to give, but still, I think it says something about the team ethos.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it is it. Uh, Subbing Tilak out came too late in the game to really make a difference. And like you said, it's not like you had
Yeah.
a big hitter sitting there waiting to step in and do the needful. That didn't make sense. As far as Vijay is concerned, yeah, I agree about the not being subbed out, but I think a large part of Chennai's problems is that they have a lot of players who really don't belong at this level anymore. I mean, Vijay Shankar hasn't been a regular member of the side for at least the last two seasons. He plays in some matches, he doesn't play in some matches. He hasn't played here till, I mean, he came in once as a kind of, I think, as an impact sub or whatever, but he's not a regular batsman, and you're batting him at number four. That's
Yeah.
I don't know what the thinking was. He's not, I mean, at his best, he was not a number four. He was more a number six-ish kind of batsman. That is, I'm talking about maybe 5 years back.
Yeah.
Today, for you to bring him in and bat him at number four, I don't know what they're thinking in pretty much all forms of the game. They're just letting themselves down, and honestly, it's like we said. But let's not get back into the Dhoni thing. It's just becoming an embarrassment. Uh,
Yeah. It is.
to be honest, it's just not it's just not working out. But yeah, I mean,
I wanted
Bombay,
to, yeah, I want to talk about CSK. I want to talk about CSK, but I want to finish the MI topic first. I want to get your thoughts on the leadership and the divide that there is. How does one sort that?
see, one of the things that I've been noticing is that Hardik, unlike the last time, seems to be more amenable to taking, let's say, advice or suggestions from the others. For instance, you saw Surya Kumar yesterday having long conversations with Hardik in the middle of the thing, and there was one place where Hardik was bowling, and Surya Kumar actually set the field. Hardik didn't interfere at all. Surya Kumar was moving players around. In fact, Surya Kumar moved a player who Hardik had placed, and then he just waved at Hardik and said, "Nahi, let him be there." Uh, in that sense, it seems okay. But see, here's the problem: if Rohit Sharma is in your team and you're going to super sub him out so that he has nothing to do with the fielding side, Rohit does understand tactics. Having him on the field, I'm not a big fan of his fitness and things like that. The only thing you can do with him is put him at either short mid off or slips. There's no
Yeah.
other place that, so you have to hide him. But I'm wondering how, even if there are no camps, even if they're not openly facing off against each other, I wonder what it feels like in a dressing room to have such a senior player being told that he's only marginally relevant to the side. He's not out of the team, but his only job is to go there, play. Somebody actually made that point. He goes there, he plays 1 over, he comes back, he rests for 39 overs. I don't know
And
what
that's
that
it.
does to the team. And the only way I see this turning around is I read today that Bumrah is back with the unit, and for all you know, you
Yeah.
might see him play tomorrow against RCB. While on that, I seriously hope that they're not rushing him back,
Yeah.
because if he has another injury, and that back injury, the thing with that is, if he has one more of those, he's gone for a long, long time. Uh,
Yeah.
so you can say
And
that
India
IPL
can't
he
go to
only has.
England. India
Yeah,
can't go to England
absolutely.
without Bumrah. I mean,
Yeah. So I'm hoping that he's fully fit. The rehab is fully done. Everybody is on board, that the franchise is not rushing him back because Mumbai is in trouble. All of that. But let's see if his coming back makes a difference to the team's sort of confidence. But right now, they seem badly lacking in confidence. All their
yeah.
senior players are not firing. The only one who is consistently performing is Hardik Pandya. He's
Yeah.
doing what he has to do with the ball. He's doing what he has to do with the bat. But Surya is not firing. Rohit is not firing. I mean, they really have nobody who is stepping up. So,
Yeah, that's true. But on that note, I mean, there is a very positive side. I see these new teams being led by young captains, and gives me a lot of hope to see that one of them is going to go on and lead India. If you look at the way Pant is leading Lucknow, and the way Gill is leading Gujarat, and the way, of course, Shreyas Iyer is leading Punjab King. They're all doing well. They're in the top half of the table. And of course, special mention for Akshar Patel. Out of the blue, he took
Totally.
on the captaincy, and 3 out of 3, they're doing a fabulous job. Fabulous, fabulous job, Prem, the new team, the new captains.
Yeah, I don't know if you would add Hardik to that list, or whether Hardik is a veteran. But anyway, those four, yeah, they've been very, very impressive. Each of them has their own style. Gill is very sort of laid back. He seems to know what he wants, and he has this habit of talking to the bowlers constantly, which some bowlers like, some bowlers don't. I
Especially
remember
given
there,
Gujarat Titans have an amazing bowling attack, like you said, they
yeah,
have six bowlers who can take a wicket and can be
yeah.
a match winner on their day.
Yeah, I remember this particular captain who used to, okay, we might as well name him. Sachin Tendulkar used to be in the bowler's ear all the time when he was captain, right? And there was one time when Srinath was very annoyed and he gave him the ball and said, Tere ko malum hai tu dal. So, uh, I don't know how that worked, but all told, he seems to have the confidence of his team. He's leading very well. Aksar is surprisingly shrewd. I love his field placing. He makes these minor adjustments, but they actually make a difference. He knows exactly what the batsman is trying to do. He chokes the batting down. There was this fun incident in the last game, in the last DC game, where I think they had some 20, 24 runs to uh, defend one ball left. And the bowler is busy setting his field, and Aksar is laughing at him and saying, "Yeah, yeah, dalna." I mean, even if you give away 6 runs, it's not going to make a difference. And I thought it was that nice blend of he's firm when he wants to be, but he knows
Yeah,
how to take it lightly. He's not getting things. Shreyas is a guy with a point to prove, and that shows.
yeah,
He's yeah, he's been screwed over by the system not once but multiple times, and you can see in his body language there is that thing of dikha dunga main, and every single time it
yeah,
shows. Yeah, it's like you said, it's actually both a heartening sign, and Rishabh Pant, by the way, has made no secret of the fact that someday he wants to lead India. In
yeah,
fact, he thinks he should be leading India right now, but that's a different story. Uh, the guy is shrewd. I'm not saying he isn't. He wears his ambition on his sleeve a bit too nakedly. I'm not sure whether that's such a good thing for him.
yeah,
Um, but I'm hoping that he gets some run soon because Sanjeev Goenka, being who he is, you remember what happened with Rahul last time. Rishabh
yeah.
Pant is not Rahul. So Sanjeev Goenka says something to him, that fellow says something back. There'll be an
There was
unnecessary
a
controversy.
there was an amazing meme I saw that when they saw Goenka again talking to Rishabh Pant, somebody wrote that Rishabh Pant is probably telling him, "Chal, let's go for a drive and then discuss it." And you see Goenka running away. He's not getting in a car with Pant anytime soon. Yeah, but I
By
think
the
that
way,
that interference is a bit too much. Sorry.
yeah. SRH seems to be continuing its implosion because I was looking at the screen. Uh, Prasid has just taken Nishan Kishan also out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think what's not
So,
working for them is Klassen is coming on too early. I mean, when Klassen comes
yeah.
in before the eighth or ninth over, there's trouble in the SRH ranks. I think their whole game plan goes for a toss because their whole game plan is that till Ishan Kishan and the top four have to take care of the first 10 overs and the rest three take care of the remaining 10 overs and then plunder the runs. And that's clearly not happening. I hope it changes
And
today.
part of the other, I mean, part of their problem is also that Nitish Kumar Reddy doesn't seem to have found his form back. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you need somebody like Aniket Verma batting in the last 4 overs. He likes to go
Hmm.
big. But if another wicket falls at this point and Aniket comes in, it's not suited for his game. So yeah, it's I don't know. At some point they'll have to try and sort out their issues, but they have serious issues now, which
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, even I thought that they'd learn from their mistakes, the few mistakes they made the last season, especially in the final, and they'd come back so much stronger. They were really the team even I was looking forward to, other than Mumbai, to see
Really.
what they do. But Yeah, they've been disappointing. But going back to the young captains, Prem, who amongst these guys do you see as someone who can go on to lead India, the front runner for you?
In the near term, and we said we're keeping Hardik out of the discussion.
Yeah, I mean he's
Uh,
a veteran in that sense. He's won an IPL
yeah,
title with Gujarat and Mumbai Indians so many times.
yeah.
So yeah,
I think in the near term, I wanted to be Shreyas. Uh, it's a toss up between Shreyas and Gill for me, though I like the other two. I like Aksar's leadership. I think Pant reads the game well. He needs to do something about his batting form because he has to. I mean, for me, a captain has to first deserve his place in the side, and
yeah,
Pant's form is way too up and down to at this point merit that. But Shreyas, because one, he is a shrewd judge of the game. He handles his team very well. He's in the form of his life. I
yeah,
think right now both the team and Shreyas will benefit if he moves into that top slot. But I don't see that happening. I don't think the BCCI. I mean, the BCCI can't do anything about Shreyas's form. So they've had to
yeah.
give him his contract back, and they can't do. I mean, he's won every damn trophy. So not much you can do, but I don't think the BCCI will consider him at all. So that's a bit of an issue. Failing that, I don't know. I mean, we are ready for a change in captaincy. I would imagine at this point, if Bumrah is fit and fully back, it should be Bumrah. Failing that, I think again short to medium term it should be Hardik, and then it'll be one of Pant or Gill. Gill's again, my issue is he needs to belong in all three formats or at least two of the three formats.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that he is a short form opener.
But are you saying that the we need the same captain for the white ball and the red ball?
No, I'm fine with if you want to have three captains for all three formats for three formats, I'm fine with that. But you know, you would ideally like to have, at least my way of thinking is, I'd ideally like to have the same captain for the tests and one days, because one days are, let's face it, in a sense a scaled down version of a test match, and
Yeah,
some of that thinking, like staying ahead of the game, planning a few moves ahead, all of that is common. T20 is more reactive. It's like something happens on the field of play, you immediately have to react. You're not thinking 20 overs at a time. You're just thinking, okay, what do I do next?
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, if you want to have one captain for white ball, one captain for the red ball, fine, go for it. That's what we've had for some time now, with Surya
yes,
leading in the white ball format and all of that, right? Funnily enough, Surya has fallen off the discussion, and that's, I think, partly to do with form, and I
that's
don't know if
true.
there are any other extraneous reasons for that. But yeah, his form is definitely down.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's pretty surprising given the fact that he did so well coming into this the World Cup and the T20 World Cup since then. But it's just been a spiral. But the thing is that his confidence never goes off in his gait. He never looks like he's lost, and I think that's a
Yeah,
really big plus for him, and that's what keeps makes him an amazing leader, amazing leader. That he never his shoulders never drop. He's like looking for the next game.
actually, he's been a good captain. I think his batting problem is he's trying to be inventive to every ball. See, one of the
Yeah,
things that happens once the bowlers figure out that you're not going to play the conventional shots, you're then going to, if you look at how they're bowling to him these days, all they're looking to do is cramp him for room. They know that he wants to, you know, play inside out. He wants to go over shoulder, all of that. So they're bowling a much fuller length and targeting his pads and trying to bowl Yorker length or the white line Yorker and the wide line Yorkers, things like that to disrupt his rhythm, and it's working because he then gets a bit frantic because his shots are not landing.
yeah,
I think he could probably surprise people. See, it's the same problem as Glenn Maxwell, for instance. I've seen
yeah,
Maxwell try to play a reverse ramp to a ball that he could have creamed through the covers. Nice shot wide outside the off stump. Why the hell are you trying to invent a shot? There are already cricket shots for that kind of ball, no?
Yeah, I agree. There's too much innovation going on. I think that everyone
Yeah,
is now forgetting the basics, not realizing that you can get runs with pure shots. I mean, they just need to look at an
yeah.
Ajinkya Rahane innings, and you know that you can play
Ajinkya
proper,
Rahane.
correct cricket shots,
Yeah.
and make runs.
Shreyas Iyer. Look at
Yeah.
Shreyas, for instance. I mean, he just plays cricket shots. He doesn't bother with all these fancy, uh, gimmickry. But he scores well. He scores fast. Yeah, anyway. I mean,
And
you
Prem, we've
mentioned at
talked
the
so
start.
much about, yeah, sorry, go
No, I
on.
mean, you mentioned at the start that 2 weeks are up. We haven't yet gotten to the halfway stage, but this looks like one of those IPLs where an entirely different top four is likely to turn up, or at least some of them are
Yeah,
likely to be absolutely new.
yeah. It is. I mean, you look at Punjab Kings, you don't ever expect them to be right at the top, but at times they have been, and then they've really, really slumped. Them that middle phase is very critical for them when they start losing their way and they start falling off. But I think this time with
Yeah,
Shreyas, I don't think that will happen because they seem very focused. Their openers are getting the runs. So and like Danny Morrison also has a lot of hope from Kings 11. I'm sure he must have seen something in the team
yeah,
the way that they're going. Seems like they might just make it to the playoffs. Just like CSK definitely seem like they're out of the playoffs. The way
yeah.
they've been
CSK
going
is out.
about,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I
But I
mean,
think Prem,
KKR
one
and
quick point we've spoken so much about CSK, but one quick point I want to make. I think more than the form over here, I think they messed up big time at the auction. They didn't pick any of the
yeah,
players. I mean, they were still expecting Jadeja, whose strike rate is about 100, these days. I mean, I don't know. They didn't have any middle order batsmen, no young guns who can really go out there. I mean, Gaikwad is really fighting a lone battle over there with the
correct.
bat. There's no one. Shivam Dubey is there to take on the spinners. But other than that, I mean, in that entire top six, there's no one who can really go after the bowling. I mean, Conway
But
is
see, I
struggling
mean, if you're
clearly.
the yeah, if you're the opposing captain and you see Shivam Dubey walking out, the first thing you're going to do is toss it to one of your quick bowlers.
Exactly.
That's the problem with having a very, very narrow field of specialty. That you just remove that specialty and you're done. You're cooked. And
True.
2 overs of seam, some 12 deliveries, you score 7, 8 runs. You've already lost the game because already you're coming in the middle or lower middle phase where the emphasis is on actually scoring at 100, kind of thing. If you can't do it, the pressure is on you. It's, I don't know, I mean, you can't have that kind of hyper specialty players. And you're right. I mean, if you look at them, I know that in the past we've actually, CSK has been called an old man's army and things like that, but now they're really an old man's army. Uh, like you said, Rutraj is just about the only young person in that team, one of the upcoming players. All the rest of them are like time for superannuation. VRS like
Yeah,
a
like
जाने
they
का time हो
picked
गया.
up. What were they thinking picking up a Deepak Huda? He's like past his prime.
Seriously.
The only guy I was really hoping would come good for them, and I think they were banking on is Rachin Ravindra, but he's also not
Yeah,
coming to his own the way he did in the Champions Trophy and before that. They've
correct.
got literally nobody there. They've got nobody there. I mean, Noor Ahmed is the only silver lining
Yeah,
they have. Sitting there pretty with the purple cap, but other than that, it's just really sad what they're doing. And I think Stephen Fleming also. I think his use by date is also. I think they need a complete new
yeah,
flourish. Maybe Dhoni would do better as the coach of this side and start putting
probably.
together a young side. That might do
Yeah,
wonders for them, I think, more than him being on the field.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh, I mean, Stephen Fleming, I don't see how a coach comes and says, I don't decide these things. Then I want to know who does. I mean,
Is that a
you're
rhetorical
getting,
question? I mean, we are talking CSK, Prem.
I know. Yeah, I know where the decisions come from, but still, it's ridiculous. And see, I would understand it if it was one of these, second level coaches or something. This is Stephen Fleming. Yeah, he's got enough of a a reputation and a pedigree to not have to take this kind of nonsense. But
Yeah, yeah.
well, I suppose where if you're being paid enough to keep your mouth shut, you will keep your mouth shut.
That's true. But what about finally, just last conversation about IPL? Who are the guys or anyone who excited you this last week in the IPL? Any young gun or
Not
anyone?
really,
One thing that stood out
just
for
the
you?
same old names, no? Like you said, Noor. Some of these young
Yeah,
boys, like Aniket, we mentioned some of them. I wonder what happened to Vaishak though, because the only time I saw him, I was quite impressed. But after that, I haven't
yeah,
seen him play. Um, I don't know how they're not finding a place for him on that side, but yeah. Other than that, the ones that we thought were impressive, they've all continued to impress. They're all
yeah.
doing their thing.
Ashwini Kumar has been an exciting find for Mumbai Indians. He got a
Yeah,
four-wicket haul, best bowling
yeah,
figures returned by an Indian. I think he looked very good, left armour, and he
yeah.
got big wickets. He got Gaikwad. He got some really, really good wickets, and he earned them. They weren't like of
Yeah,
loose deliveries.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
He seems very sharp.
The problem is, how are you going to see? One of the things that I keep looking at all this young talent coming through, and in a sense, it feels sad because most of them can't get to play for India.
Yeah,
Uh, we need to start fielding a B team fairly soon because
yeah, yeah,
and if we continue to pick on in the on the basis of reputation, if we pick the A team on the basis of reputation, I actually think it's possible to build a B team that will actually beat the A team.
yeah. Better option, Prem, would be to have two tiers of the IPL. Get in another four or six teams and do a relegation every year. The bottom team goes away. Do it a bit like the Premier League. You're just looking at a bigger pool of players getting an opportunity to play and come up, and there'd be something for them to fight. I think it's time now after 18 years. I think the IPL is ready for that.
I think that yeah, that's an idea, and I'd be surprised if it doesn't happen sooner rather than later. The other thing is that a lot of these franchises that are investing in, for example, scouting, talent development. See, it's not enough to just scout somebody from some obscure part of the country playing some college game or something and bring him into the ranks. You then have to spend a lot of money on training him, getting him
Yeah,
up to speed, all of that. So there is an investment, and this investment can't be just for these 2 months, right? So I'm
true.
increasingly thinking of I'm trying to put several points together. One is the Saudi backed league, which will happen
Yeah,
sooner than later. The second is the fact that all these franchises or most of the big moneyed franchises now have multiple. I mean, they own multiple teams across the world.
yeah,
So if I'm a franchise, I'm going to say, listen, I mean, I'm not going to take all this effort, scout talent, give them money, keep them in the side, give them the best of coaching, facilities, and all that just for 2 months. I want to be able to send my player to play in South Africa, to play in the US, to play in the 100, for instance.
yeah.
So, so yeah, maybe in that sense, we'll reach a point where playing for the country is no longer the goal. It is playing for the franchise.
And I think for a lot of them, that has become the norm. I think if getting to the
Yeah,
IPL is really the ultimate goal. I mean, then it's a chance after that. If they have an excellent season or two, you might get your token series, some random series to play in, and if you shine, then of course you pick up the gauntlet from them and run. But yeah, so it's been exciting, but enough of IPL, Prem. I think it's time to talk about another issue that's really been very disappointing. I don't know who's to blame for it, but the fact that they are looking to retire the Pataudi trophy
oh yeah,
is been something that really really irritated me, and it's just very sad to hear comments from Sharmila Tagore, who was Tiger Pataudi's wife, who survived
yeah.
him, and talking about why do they need, it's such a new trophy. It's not like it's 100 years or 50 years old. It's barely been there, and they're looking to retire it. What are your thoughts? You've been a big fan of Tiger. I remember at Redef, you've told me some amazing stories about Tiger Pataudi, and I think the youth really need to know about him. He didn't play IPL, but I think he's one of the great stories and one of the greatest cricketers India's had, and I think it's time to continue celebrating him instead of trying to, bury his charm and his talent.
Yeah, I mean, see, one of the things that I remember, in fact, the first cricket match that I ever watched live in a stadium was during the Australian tour of India. That was 1969. In December, there was a test match in Chennai. This was the side that Ian Chappell led. Lots of Australian legends were there. Stackpole was there, Laurie was there, Ian Chappell himself, obviously. Then there was Redpath, there was Graham McKenzie was there,
Wow.
Doug
What
Walters
a team.
played, Ashley Mallet. I mean, yeah, it was a galaxy of stars. And I remember, I think in that match, Pataudi top scored in one innings. And,
Wow.
you know, yeah, uh, I think he scored a 50 something. We lost that match. We lost by about 70 odd runs. But I remember that Pataudi was the top scorer in the second innings. No, in the first innings. Uh, we had, and see, even if you look at that team, everybody talks about the team that 2 years later Ajit Wadekar led. They called him lucky. Uh, and you know how he went to the West Indies, he won all of that. But remember the
Correct.
roots of that team. That team was built by Tiger Pataudi. If you think of
That's
the
true.
players that I saw in 1969, Chetan Chauhan was there, Ashok Mankad was there, Ajit Wadekar himself was in the side, Gundappa Vishwanath was in the side, Farooq Engineer, Eknath Solkar, Mohinder Ramanath. Then
That's
you
true.
had Prasanna, Bedi, Venkatraghavan, all of them were there. So, I mean, what was the side that Wadekar led? It was a side minus Pataudi plus Salim Durrani. That's it. And Salim Durrani had
That's
been
true.
he was dropped from the side. But see, the thing is, I remember two things. One was, uh, and both the things were told to me by Bishan Singh Bedi, who's a huge Pataudi fan. Uh, I remember once we had a long conversation about Pat, and I was asking Bish, I mean, I know the story. One eye, he lost it in an accident. He came, and I mean, there are international cricketers who are quoted as saying it's hard enough to play cricket with two eyes. I don't know how he does it with one eye. Uh,
And he
Even
played
Sachin has
40
said
of his 46 tests. Yeah, he played 40 of his
yeah,
46 tests with one eye.
correct. So there was that, right? But I was asking him what is his impact on Indian cricket, and I remember Bedi saying this. He said, "See, Indian teams when they went up against say Australia or England, whom we played most often, he said we had a sort of inferiority complex when we went into the field because these are these English speaking sides with a swagger and they are the lords of cricket kind of thing. And then he said Pataudi came and changed all that because himself is a Nawab. He is from Oxbridge. I mean, this is nothing new to him. He's done his bit even on the playing fields of England. And look at the team he had. No, at various times he had ML Sima, another aristocrat. He had Abbas Ali Beg,
Yeah.
Salim Durrani. So
Yeah.
Bedi said they used to swagger onto the field like they were the ones who owned the field, not the Englishmen or the Australians. And he said it gave us
Wow.
that sense of belonging. And the other thing he talked to me about once we were discussing captaincy, and I asked Bedi, of all the people you have played under and who you have seen subsequently, who do you rate as the greatest captain ever? And he, without a minute's hesitation, he said Pataudi. So I asked him, how come, why not Wadekar, for instance? You had your big wins under Wadekar. And he said, see, I'll tell you what it's about Pataudi. He will toss the ball to you, so you go mark your run up. And by the time you've turned around, he set the field. And he would have set the field that you want. He said he will read your bowling style, what the pitch is doing, and he will give you the field that you would have set for yourself. So he said, I'll give you one example. And he talked about that same series. I forget which test it was, where Bedi got Chappell in an interesting fashion. He said Chappell was playing spin beautifully. So there's this innings, Chappell walks out to bat, Bedi has the ball, So Pataudi sets a field. So Bedi and Pataudi was in the covers. He is a brilliant cover fielder, by the way. So Pataudi was in the covers. Bedi asked him to move to extra cover. So there was a huge gap between point and extra cover. And Bedi said, I tossed the ball up on a length just outside off stump. Ian Chappell comes forward, he cover drives, goes through that gap, it goes for four. Pataudi
Hmm.
quietly runs after the ball, picks it up, brings it all the way back. Next ball, almost the exact same ball, same shot, another four. He says again,
Hmm.
Pataudi has to go fetch it, comes back. So third ball, I did the exact same thing. And he says the same result. Chappell hits a third successive four. Pataudi goes, fetches the ball. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't. He just moves back to his position. Fourth ball, Ian Chappell is out stumped. So I said, "What was that?" He said, "What I did was I kept giving him. I fed him that drive, and then that fourth ball, I pulled the length back just a fraction. So he had to reach forward. His toe came out of
Oh,
the crease. Yeah,
wow.
he was beaten by the turn, and engineer stumped him. And he said, the point is, I can think of no other captain who, after three fours going through a gap, he won't plug that gap. So if Pataudi had plugged that gap, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I could do it because
Wow.
I was giving Chappell a drivable ball. He said, that is Pataudi. He understands what you're trying to do and he'll let you do it. He won't come and
What a
interfere with your
fantastic.
plans. Yeah. So, I mean,
Wow.
the guy, the guy is a huge story. Yeah. Anyone who's played with him, when they talk about him, their face just lights up. I mean, for Sachin Tendulkar to say in one instance that, I don't know how Pataudi played with one eye. I mean, it's all I can do to play with two eyes. It tells you the caliber of it.
And it's
And think
something to be
about it.
proud of. He's the first captain who led India to an overseas win, first time ever
Yeah.
In New Zealand that game. So I mean, we all
Yeah,
need to
I
really
mean,
celebrate the man.
even more than leading the side to an overseas win, he built the side that then started winning overseas in West Indies, in
That's true.
this thing, all of that. Wadeka's side, the one that did well in the West Indies and in England, that was Pataudi's side with Wadekar leading it. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean it's sad. Yeah,
Amazing.
I mean you have 100-year trophies, trophies that have been going on and on for 100 years plus, and nobody has found any fault with it. Why they had to retire this
Correct.
one, I don't. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it seems
it
like
did leave a
politics. I
bad.
mean,
Yeah, I mean I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but the only thing I can think of is the use of the word Nawab in the title. No, Nawab Pataudi Trophy. No, no, no. वो नहीं हो सकता है. This
doesn't
is a
sound
new
right
India.
at this time. Yeah, it's
So
really disappointing.
anyway,
It's really disappointing. Anyways, on that note, Prem, you had a very interesting picture you sent me the other day. Why don't we close the show with that?
yeah, throw it up and I mean, this is supposed to be sport and pastime, not IPL and pastime. So we'll gradually
Yeah,
start moving into other sports as well. Why I love this picture is it's it's not just a well framed picture of Djokovic. And I don't know because I mean we don't have access to the original picture, so I can't quite figure out how much of it has been photoshopped and how much hasn't. But it is Gotterdam around, right? The sunset of the gods. This is the
yeah,
last of the Fab Four that are left. Fab Five, if you, yeah, the Fab Four that are left, and increasingly his returns are diminishing. If you'd asked me about a year and a half ago, I would have said Djokovic is nowhere near retiring. He's still, winning slams and he's playing at his best. But this last year, you can see signs of mortality in him. And I
yeah,
think this picture captures that perfectly, which is why it caught my eye. I found it, I think, on social media. This is won some kind of award recently. Uh,
yeah. Then I think they
so
wouldn't be filtered. They must have just treated it a bit. But this seems like a
yeah,
great shot they've captured.
a
It's
brilliant, great
really
shot.
really amazing picture. Yeah,
It's like one of those things that oh, I have this story to tell, therefore I want this kind of picture, and you deliberately shoot it, and this is what happens.
yeah. It's really something. It's really really something. Great. On that note, Prem, I'll see you next week. And hopefully Sunrisers will have played some better cricket, so you'll be in a better mood, and we'll have some more fun on the show next time.
So one hopes, yeah. As of now, Sunrisers is in even bigger trouble, 101 for 4. So, yeah, on that note, goodbye.
Hit a long way. Out on the run is Liriano.